All right, well, it looks like we are going to be getting Dricus Du Plessis defending his title at UFC 305 in Perth, Australia against Israel Adesanya after Izzy just went on social media recently and made a post that says, "The sun of Africa is the same sun that lights up our planet. The sun will set and will rise again until you walk into it. The sun, enjoy while it shines. Darkness falls when it's gone. Never stole shine, never lost mine." UFC 305, Du Plessis versus Adesanya, August 17th. Now, obviously, when we hear that from Izzy, like, he's the A side in this fight, right? He's one of the bigger stars in the UFC, whether you like him or not. He is one of the biggest names, one of the biggest draws, one of the golden boys, however you want to, refer to it. He's definitely one of the bigger names inside the UFC. So him going on social media, making this post, I think that we obviously can believe it, right? I don't think he's protesting for a title shot. We've kind of just known inside the community, guys, that Izzy is going to be getting the next crack at Dricus Du Plessis. Now, there was something that kind of was surfacing before he made this announcement, which was maybe the UFC saying, look, go ahead and post it. After Dana White for UFC 303, he goes on his social media, makes the announcement, look, Conor McGregor's pulled out due to injury. Here are the replacement fights. But as he's going through that and talking, they're in the war room where they have all the matchmaking going on, the boards up with the different fights that they're planning to book. And you see Israel Adesanya's name on the board in the bottom corner. So that's obviously, like, there's nobody else that ends in Asanya, inside the UFC. So we know that that's Izzy. So maybe the UFC saw that happened. Maybe they did it on purpose. I don't know. Either way, they probably gave Izzy the green light to be like, go ahead and post this because we're getting ready to announce this soon. So it looks like, one, they're putting together a heck of a card for UFC Perth, which is to be expected. But let's talk about this matchup, guys, right? So I want to know first down in the comments, let me know what side of the fence you guys are on, because there's a lot of people that are like, look, Izzy, he deserves this title shot, man. He's one of the greatest middleweights of all time. Despite him losing to Strickland and coming off of a loss, essentially walking into a title fight here, he's defended the belt so many times. He was an active champion. He's done so many great things that he absolutely deserves a title shot. And then on the other side of the fence, we got people who are like, no way. He doesn't deserve a title shot. He's coming off a loss. He got battered by Sean Strickland. It should be Strickland in a rematch, or whoever else you think it should be. But there's a lot of people out there, man. It's like, when you talk to different people, you're going to see people on different sides of the fence. Now, for me, I wanted to see Sean Strickland get the next opportunity, but I figured that wasn't going to happen, and I knew in the back of my mind, I'm like, look, the UFC's not letting this fight slip through. There's a lot of beef here. There's a lot of animosity, which is essentially, both guys have had some things to say about each other, but really Izzy seems to have kind of taken the bull by the horns, so to speak, and really blow this thing up to be a massive fight. The UFC's not going to miss out on the opportunity to have this fight take place because they almost missed it the first time around, right? Dricus Du Plessis goes out there, beats Robert Whittaker. They let Izzy inside the cage to try to build this thing up. They wanted to try and turn around and book it for UFC 293. Du Plessis was injured, so they had Strickland step in. And we all know the UFC was trying to just give Izzy somebody that could keep him active and somebody they thought, look, he's just going to stand and trade with Izzy. Izzy's a high-level striker. This should be a walk in the park for Izzy. Well, boy, it was a walk in the park for Sean Strickland. I mean, Strickland, his fighting style, one, is awkward, but in a way, it's brilliant against high-level strikers. He takes away your space and he just doesn't make you look like yourself in there. And we saw him do that to Izzy, and there was a lot of speculation after that fight. Look, Izzy wasn't focused. He wasn't taking it serious. All these different things. But one thing that we can say for this matchup, guys, at least from me, from the X's and O's standpoint, this is a very, very intriguing matchup to me. I can't wait to watch this fight. Not for the press conference antics, not for the buildup. I could care less about that. But when the octagon door closes, I mean, we have two incredibly unique fighting styles kind of going at it head-to-head, man. I mean, a guy like Dricus Du Plessis, all you have to do is look at the guy and know that's a big physically strong dude, right? I mean, he's a big guy for 185. He's even talked about moving up to 205 at some point throughout his career, which I could definitely see happening. But he's a big, strong guy that does have good grappling. He does have underrated striking, in my opinion, which I feel like we got to see that a little more on display against Robert Whittaker when he was able to finish him. We saw that against Sean Strickland. And what DDP does such a great job of is he can fight well out of both stances. He can kick really well. He's got good combinations with the hands. Like, we've seen DDP basically over his past couple fights here display he has a very well-rounded skill set. But on the other side of it here, you have Israel Adesanya, and we've seen so many fights from Izzy since he's been in the UFC where when you watch him, man, he's just one of the most high-level strikers we've ever seen inside this sport, right? And I know that he gets a lot of crap for the jab and leg kick, and he's a little boring. But one of the things I want to point out in this matchup is I think that we're going to see a little bit of a different Izzy. And when Izzy is the guy that is holding the title and he's defending the belt, I think that he kind of lives up to the idea of defending the belt. Like, you know, at all costs, I'm not putting myself in harm's way. I'm just going to jab and leg kick, sit at range, and kind of coast by, to where when he is fighting for the belt, he has a different attitude. And Israel Adesanya is one of those guys, you know, he's into the anime, you know, the kind of the art of fighting themes and all that kind of stuff. And I really think mentally it dials him in quite a bit different when he is the contender. I mean, we saw this in the Pineda 2 fight. I know he was in trouble up against the fence against Alex, but you saw even in that fight, he was a lot more forward. He was pushing the pace. He was not, you know, he was even sitting down in the phone booth at times with Pineda, which he really wasn't doing in the first MMA fight. So to say that he's not a different guy when he's the contender, I just don't think would be fair. But when we look at this fight is very cut and dry to me, right? Dricus Du Plessis is going to have to move forward. He's going to have to close down Israel Adesanya, get into that dirty boxing range, try to implement kind of his physical force onto Israel Adesanya, not give Izzy the space to move around, dance on the outside, utilize those good long tools that he likes to use, and the footwork. Because what we know with Izzy, he has some of the best footwork in the game. He's got good, long, straight shots. He has outstanding kicks, and he's very, very good at using the octagon to his advantage. With the lateral movement, it's very, very hard to close him down. But if you can do that, we have seen guys have a lot of success against him. We even saw Pineda, when he was able to back Izzy up against the fence, cut him off, close him down, have success. But again, that's a very high-level kickboxer in Alex Pineda. We've also seen Sean Strickland just move forward the entire time, show him no respect, close him down, shut down his offense, and be able to land shots on Israel Adesanya and kind of just move forward and make him uncomfortable the whole fight. Now, can DDP do that? I think there's a good chance he can do that. I really do think that there's a good chance he can do that. But the question that I have is DDP going to be able to cut off Israel Adesanya? Because one of the things with Izzy is whenever he is able to sit on the back foot and you're not pressuring him and you're not moving forward the entire time, he gets comfortable. He starts to get your timing. He starts to feint. He starts to get you reacting. And then he starts to find those holes and those openings to be able to exploit and take advantage to either finish you or just outpoint you to a decision. But in this fight, guys, if I'm going early prediction, I really think Dricus Du Plessis can beat Israel Adesanya. I do think that DDP should be the favorite coming into this matchup. Now, I'm sure when this gets announced, because, you know, he's such a popular figure in MMA, I think that Izzy will probably be the favorite. However, I think DDP should be the favorite coming into this matchup. I think that he has the better overall skill set. He's been in there, you know, with Robert Whittaker now. He was able to finish him. Then he goes out there against Sean Strickland, and it was a razor-close fight. It was a razor-close fight, but we saw him land some good shots on Strickland, and we saw him mix the tools very, very well together. And I would like to think if DDP can implement his game plan, not what we saw in the first round against Robert Whittaker, where you're letting Whittaker dance around and kind of dictate the pace, but in that second round against Whittaker, even after the first round against Sean Strickland, you see DDP after that first round slowly start to put his foot on the gas, slowly start to move forward, slowly start to kind of impose his will on you. If he can do that from the minute the bell strikes, the minute he can start, implementing his game plan upon Israel Adesanya and not give him that space to operate, I think DDP is going to cause a lot of problems for Izzy in this fight, man. I really do. And I love watching both of these guys fight because I'm a fight nerd, man. I love seeing the different styles clash. And with DDP, it's that chaotic style where he does have good power. He kind of mixes everything together. And Izzy's that very aesthetically pleasing style that's very beautiful to watch when he's active and actually throwing things that have some intention behind him. But I really think that DDP coming into this fight, his style clashing with Izzy's, it's going to make Izzy have to fight. And what we have seen from Israel Adesanya, no matter what you think of the guy, if you come after him, if you try to close him down and you move forward and you make it a fight, Izzy will stand in there and he will absolutely fight. But I want to hear from you all down in the comments. Drop your predictions down below. Do you think DDP gets it done? Or do you think Israel Adesanya gets it done? Subscribe to the channel. Help your boy out. I would appreciate it. See you next time.